We finally understand why Meghan never dared to return to the UK. She is afraid of Catherine. It is lovely to see you all again. It's been a really busy week, but I found an update from last week from Daily Mail. Now, the title says, Royal biographer claims Meghan Markle won't ever return to Britain because the Duchess won't want to curtsy for Kate. Now, of course, I've said it many times, Meghan has always been so incredibly jealous of Catherine. And at the same time, William and Catherine certainly never experienced any jealousy of Meghan and Harry. Alright, enough of that. Now back to today's updates. So Andrew Morton collaborated with Diana, the Princess of Wales, on his 1992 book called Diana, Her True Story, and he has ruled out a move back from the US for Meghan and Harry. He appeared on Sky News Sunday Morning with Trevor Phillips, and he was asked if he believed Meghan and Harry would ever come back to Britain, and his response was, "What, and have Meghan Markle curtsying to Kate Middleton? I don't think so. I don't see that as a runner." All right, so Mr. Morton goes on to explain that one is curtsying to a role, not a person. Meghan Markle doesn't understand that. This is a person who wants to be president of the USA. How will she cope with military protocol as commander-in-chief when she mocked protocol to the commander-in-chief, Her Majesty late Queen? I think this is a very good point. And then he says that Meghan would love to have everyone bowing and curtsying to her, but she has done nothing to deserve such homage. She wanted to be the star and have everyone curtsy or bow to her, yet no way was she going to do it to other senior royals. She knew the score, but wanted things her own spoiled way. And yes, we keep coming back to this. That is the fundamental problem with Meghan. As he says, she seems to want all the trappings of royalty, titles, respect, celebrity status, and money, but doesn't want to give anything back at all, and it just doesn't work like that. Mr. Morton is hitting the nail on the head. He went on to say, I personally don't think she will ever step foot back in the UK unless it's for some kind of business deal. Not attending her father-in-law's coronation spoke volumes. Yes, if she was ever going to come back, I think that would have been the occasion. I completely agree with him. Now, the royal family is an institution, and they have to confer precedence by way of titles. Now, if somebody wants to accept and use one or more of those titles, then it's incredibly hypocritical not to act in accordance with the precedents and protocol associated with doing that. That is, after all, the quid pro quo of accepting the title in the first place. If Meghan Markle wants to be referred to as the Duchess of Sussex, then she needs to understand that she has got to start curtsying to people above her in the hierarchy. That's just the way it works. Now, Meghan could also have declined using that title. She's perfectly entitled to that decision. Her refusal to curtsy as a U.S. citizen would be reasonable, and that would be something we could respect. But it seems like the Duchess of Sussex wants that title in the association and all the fancy things that go along with it, but she doesn't want to have to do the work, and she also has no respect for the traditions or the protocol. See, I always thought that was the last straw for Meghan Markle when she came to understand that one day she would need to curtsy to Catherine. I actually suspect that decision was made as she was leaving St. Paul's at the end of the Jubilee service. She could hear the sound of the crowd as she was approaching the more open area, and she had that usual smirk on her face. And then there was a really nice moment when all of a sudden Meghan realized that the sounds that she could hear were not cheers at all, but people were booing. Boy, did she look shocked. It took a little more than just a moment, and then, in quite a panic, she changed her expression to one of trying to avoid throwing up, and she kept on walking. It was a sight to behold. When somebody no longer talks to their family, when somebody doesn't have any friends they have known longer than, a couple of months or so, when somebody has been through all these breakups and all these short relationships, when somebody has had so many different jobs, people they've done business with, and everybody is canceling the work they did with them and saying bad things about their experience, when it seems like somebody just can't stay at the same job for more than a few years, well, perhaps that person is the problem and not everybody they're encountering. And in this situation, it's pretty clear who the problem is, and it's not the royal family. So Meghan thought that curtsying to any member of the royal family was beneath her. She had to be number one in the hierarchy, even when the Queen was still living. If the president of the US and other leaders of other countries have to bow to the king and queen, that shows respect. It's not because they believe themselves to be beneath them or anything like that. But Meghan did not want to observe even the most simple protocols of royal life. So why did she marry Harry? I'm never going to understand that. Now, yes, it is an incredibly privileged lifestyle, but still it comes with its own rules and its own trappings. You don't just get to waltz all around the world, do whatever you want to do. It really is a job. Meghan also failed to understand what the Duchess title's all about. She thought it was going to open so many doors for her. She thought it was going to impress people. She thought it was going to make her a nice pile of money. And she expects for everyone to call her Duchess. Meghan's not shy about that title. And just look at where it's gotten her so far. But I do need to give credit where credit is due. Meghan has done pretty well for herself after working for the royal family for only 72 days. I mean, just think about it. She got a multi-million-pound celebrity wedding. She got over $1 million worth of clothing. But most of all, she got that title, a title she's always using to bring attention to herself. Now, actually, that's not bad for only working 72 days, but she still whines. I kind of suspect that Harry is finally realizing that Meghan Markle has been using him this whole time and she doesn't care about him. She is so obsessed with being a big star. And after they get divorced, Harry might have to stay on in the US if he wants to keep up this narrative that they've got these children. Now, you know I don't believe the children are real, but it's going to be a pretty awkward situation to face if he has to admit they're not real in order to just get away from Meghan and leave the US. I don't know. We're going to see what happens. Now, if the kids are real, which you know I don't believe they are, but if they are, you know Meghan Markle is going to be so vindictive. She's not going to allow them out of her sight. Other than a few friends, though, or fans, Harry and Meghan are not important to anybody. The only reason people are interested in them is because people want to see them get their comeuppance and see how far they're going to fall. As the years pass, though, Harry and Meghan certainly become less relevant on the world stage. If the kids are real, the kids are never going to get to know Harry's family. And Harry, I'm afraid, will never really get to have a relationship with his nephews and his niece after what he said. The king and the prince are going to be moving forward. They're going to be working so hard to streamline and modernize the monarchy. And Harry is not going to be allowed to participate in all that, but that's because of his choices. And I'm sure someday he is going to regret everything that he and Meghan have done. So Harry's going to come crawling back one day with his tail tucked between his legs when he finally understands that he was played this whole time. And I think people would be more willing to forgive if Harry just could have his own thoughts again, if he could finally get rid of that woman who has brainwashed him so terribly that he was always offended by everything and became a different person. And you, what do you think about this couple? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments section, and we can also discuss Meghan and Harry. If you think my video is helpful, don't be afraid to like and share with your friends and family members who need it anytime you want. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.